Hey guys, it's me Chandra again, and today we'll do a little bit fun discussion, and this time about the two new artifact sets that they're announced for 3.6. So the first one is about like hydro related. It's called Nymph's Dreams, if I'm not wrong. So is it actually a upgrade from Heart of Depth itself in general, or is it kind of maybe upgrade for some hydro unit or hydro char? And then the second one is about like HP related, and maybe if some of you already wonder, is it actually finally a buff for Dia itself? Just because you see most of the effect is kind of integrated with Dia. So let's figure it out right now. So let's start first with the understanding about how these both artifact sets work. So 2 piece is same with Heart of Depth, will give you 100 damage bonus by 15%, which is good. 4 piece, it's very interesting. Whenever you do normal charge, plunging, attack, skill, burst that hit opponent, it will give you 1 sec of Mirror Nymph that will last for 8 seconds. So this one also will have a stack that you can get up to 3 stack, and it has two different effects that can occur in the same time. So first one is attack that will be increased depends how many stack you have. If you have 1 stack 7%, 2 stack 16%, 3 stack is 25%, and also higher damage bonus in the same time. 1 stack is 4%, 9%, 2 stack, and then 3 stack is 15%, which is very good. You get both attack and higher damage bonus increase. And take notes also, this mirror name stack created by normal charge plunging and until Delta Burst exists independently. So that means at the maximum you can get a 30% of higher damage bonus and then 25% increase on attack. This looks actually very good. But in take note in here that in order for you to utilize those maximum number, you have to get until 3 stacks, of course, right? So you have to do like normal charge, skill, burst, whatever it is, mix combination in order for you to get the max stat itself though. So you cannot like start with the max 30% of hydro damage bonus with 25% increase in attack like directly. You have to build like until 3 stack, which is it's not actually that hard to trigger. It's just like more gimmicky and you have to pay attention more, because if we kind of compare with other similar artifact, let's say Heart of Depth, you only need to do skill and it will active for 15 seconds. That's very simple, right? And Emblem Sacrifice just do burst, it's already buff, depends on how many ER you have though. So in general, is it Nim Dream provide a better buff for overall hydro unit or hydro character? I'll just say in general, it's not. But for some certain hydro character, yes, Nim Dream potentially can provide a better buff compared to old artifact. So one of them, the one that I would recommend, I think the one that very suitable, which is Childe. Some of you already figure out, I think, because Childe is one of the hydro unit that you keep actively doing stuff, which is you do skill, normal charge attack, you do burst, and you do rotation, something like that. So it's easier for you to get stack or get maximum effect from this effect itself though. Other than that is Ayato, because Ayato is one of the main DPS of Hydro unit, so pretty much he can do a lot of stuff, like more kind of active compared to other character, like let's say like kind of Shincho, you only do skill and burst, something like that, that it's not really active, you swap out. So Childe and Ayato is, I think, the one that the best candidate for you to equip this name stream, but I think Childe is kind of suitable more compared to Ayato. And I would just say, if you ask me in the end, is it better upgrade if you already have a very solid, let's say, Heart of Depth for your Childe? I would just say it's not really. I think at the best it will provide like only minimal upgrade. Just imagine like this, if you're already familiar with like Yamiko 2-piece like Gladiator 2-piece Thundering Fury, and if you kind of want to do like a 4-piece of Gillard, yeah, it's actually upgrade. If you already, I already make the video, it's actually upgrade, especially if you pair with Dendro, but it's not that much. It's only kind of minimal. I feel it's not worth if you kind of like only want to farm specifically for those character, unless you have multiple character that you want to equip with those artifact, then yeah, for sure you can go. But for specifically you can go there, it's not really that worth, because I believe the upgrade will be minimal. My range kind of calculation is only like 3 to 4%. So imagine you have a very solid Heart of Depth 4-piece, and then you start to farm the name stream and turn out to be the best of your name streams. Overall stat is actually worse than your Heart of Depth. Your name stream potentially can be worse than your Heart of Depth though, just because the buff of your name stream is actually not that much. I already say it's around 3 to 4%, right? So in order for your name stream to excel your Heart of Depth, the subset overall stats is have to be similar with the best of your Heart of Depth though. So your name sim can become better. But of course, there's certain a plus point or kind of word point in here where farming or name sim can be plus for you or kind of total win for you. Which is first situation is that you never farm in any Heart of the domain, or you probably kind of new player that start Genshin Impact that never kind of farm in Heart of the domain. And yeah, this is actually kind of win domain for you though, just because it two piece is actually general good for your overall hydro unit, so it will never get wrong. So maybe you don't really have a solid build yet, putting this two piece with your hydro damage bonus with your hydro character in general is actually still very good. And four piece, especially if you kind of child man, whoever you are end game or kind of early player, is actually very good and provide even better than Heart of Depth. That's actually a massive win for you though. And other than that, if you're already even farming in the Heart of Depth domain, but the two piece actually good if you kind of want to kind of utilize that. So you farm to get a very solid two piece Neem stream and two piece very solid in Heart of Depth though. Just because for me, the main benefit in two piece set is that it's easier for you to get a good set in two piece compared in like four complete set for four piece. And the last thing that I want to add that yeah, there's couple character that can utilize, but I don't think people will follow just because I don't think a lot of people following this build. Which is first one is main DPS Sincho, and I don't think most of the people will go there just because I know most of you will treat Sincho as a sub DPS. But if you kind of main DPS Sincho, this one actually you can utilize just because yeah, you can actively doing stuff right in there. So Sincho become a main like attraction in there. You can trigger all the stack and you can fully utilize this set. But yeah, I don't know how much people will want to use main DPS Sincho. And the last one, of course, if you main DPS Mona, but I'll just say I rarely see people main DPS Mona, but if you main DPS Mona, then why not? You can utilize like this name stream. So my verdict, if you kind of overall want to upgrade your hydro character unit and you go for name stream, I would just say it's not really that worth. Just because I would just say, let's say Sincho and Yelan, you can only just do four piece of Emblem Sever Fate, and Emblem Sever Fate is one of the best domain. And then let's say you want to upgrade for your child itself for four piece of from Heart of Depth into Nimsum. Yeah, you can unless you very die hard. But I'll just say remind again, it's only 3 to 4%. I don't know your total resin that you have to start again. It's worth for 4%. If I think the only one that can do this is die hard child main though. And then yeah, I'll just say unless you want to utilize the two piece, I think that's the most beneficial that people can use, which is two piece names and two piece Heart of Red. And yeah, you can go with this. And other than that, I think the most beneficial one is like new player itself that just like start and never touch Heart of Depth. And for sure, I think it can be a worthwhile artifacts set for you to go though. And second set is called Focus Glow. I'm so sorry if it's wrong pronunciation. Two piece will give you HP increase by 20%, same with Tenacity. Four piece is another interesting one. Elemental Skill, Mental Burst, damage will increase 10%. It's very straightforward. After the equipping character takes damage, the aforementioned damage bonus increased by 80% for 5 seconds. Do you know this part? It took me 20 minutes to understand, just because English also is not my native language, and also sometimes Hoyo for translation is very weird. That took me a long time to understand though. So basically this means that if your equipping character take damage, the damage increase is actually based on the aforementioned damage though, which is from this one. That means increase 80% from 10%. So that means increase 80% from 10% is what? 8%. So some percentage also can be tricky. It looks kind of increase, but no increase from what we think in from our mind. So it's not like 90%. It's basically increase 80% from 10% is 8%. So it's not that much though. And take note, we can have a stacks by 5, so that means this 8% can have 5 stacks, which is the most is 40%, and you can stack with this one with 10%, which is total 50%, and the duration is each stack is count independently. Same with this one. This effect can be triggered even equipping character is not on field. Yeah, looks promising, right? If you kind of read in very general, you already think, especially with Dia, man, whoa, this is for Dia for sure, right? Yes, my Dia will be better just because it's dedicated for Dia. Yeah, technically you're right, but there's a couple of consideration that don't be too happy about these sets, although this is a kinda can work with Dia, which is the two piece actually increase HP, right? But if you take notes again, Dia HP scaling at 0 is not that impressive. It's relatively low. that this effect of increase of 20% will be more impactful if you have Dehya at least at C1, or better is more than C5 or consider C6 though. So that's kinda like a little bit pointless though. Why you buff the character that you need constellation? We want the baseline that you need to buff, right? So that's kinda a sad part. The 4 piece, even though it looks everything synchronized with the kit itself, but it's not easy to keep trigger this or keep to get the maximum buff all the time though. So you need a little bit kinda like consistency and skill. Yeah, the 4 piece in effect for the first line is actually very straightforward that always keep active, but take note it's only 10%. Other 40% or the majority of them is relying on keep taking damage, and it's only like for 5 seconds and it has stack though. So that means you have to keep taking damage though. So if you don't keep taking damage, that means on some point you will kind of only get like 30%, you can only get 20% or something like that though. So it's you cannot get the maximum potential for your buff for this artifact itself though. And if you compare with other like Dehya main DPS artifact sets like Emblem of Sapphire Fate, basically that set is actually very comfy just because Emblem will provide you increase in energy charge, because take notes, the source damage dealing from Dehya it's come from the burst itself. So you have to constantly trigger the burst. So that means even you equip this Vourakasha glow, you still have to get enough ER though, so you can continuously deal damage. Other than that, the effect will trigger always active just because you don't need a certain gimmick. It just depends how much ER you have and it keep active. If you already have like let's say over 200 of energy charge, your Dehya buff of burst is already around 50%, which is around the same with your Vourakasha glow. So in the end, I have to say, yes, Vourakasha glow, if you have maybe a very good substat or something like that, it can potentially become better. But the upgrade again, similar with Nymph's Dream, it's kinda minimal though. And again, I have to mention, if your Vourakasha glows in the end, your overall substat is actually worse than Emblem, your Vourakasha glow potentially become worse than Emblem, especially if your Emblem already godly. This artifact set can be worse than Emblem just because the upgrade again is very minimal. So unless if you're really extreme hardcore, super hardcore Dehya man, then yeah, you can go for this, but don't be disappointed if the buff is not like the one that you expect, because it's actually really minimal. But actually this character is not really made for Dehya itself. There's a couple of characters that you can utilize, especially character that related with Bloom, that I think if you really know what character really specialist in Bloom is what, then Nilou. Just because these artifact sets require you to keep taking damage for the 4 piece itself, then the one that I can utilize is Nilou, because Bloom is literally will take damage, right? So Nilou is one of them that you want to get though, and also it's scaling of HP for a 2 piece, which is very good. Nilou can utilize this though. Another character I can think, which is Yao Yao. You can utilize this Vourakasha glow. I think it will be pretty decent, especially if you want to make your Yao as a driver for the Dendro that more into on-field, where you utilize both of skill and burst. I think this is quite viable for Yao, just because if you kind of want to keep doing the reaction kind of Bloom and kind of Bargain, then Yao will keep receiving damage, then Yao will benefit from the skill and burst itself, right? So it's kind of good. And also the 2 piece will give you HP, which is improve on Yao Yao healing, which is it's a win-win also for Yao Yao. This is not very kind of perfectly artifact for Yao Yao, but this is quite decent or quite viable for Yao Yao. And potentially one more character, which is Candice, where because Candice scaling on HP also, and then the 4 piece, if you kind of playing Candice in Bloom something like that, then she keep receiving damage. I think this can also work with Candice. But there's actually a couple of benefits that worth to mention for you to farm for Vourakasha glow, which is you can just ignore the 4 piece and just utilize the 2 piece set though from Vourakasha glow, and you can pair with another 2 piece from Tenacity. I think for some of the character can utilize this, let's say kind of mostly support or healing type character, let's say kind of Layla, Diona, even Bennett focus healer, although I don't recommend, but you can. Yao Yao, the full focus on healing, Kokomi, and other most of the healer can utilize this. And even the one that a little bit main DPS is Yilan, that you can focus 2 piece Vourakasha glow and 2 piece Tenacity if you don't have a very good set for Emblem. This can be a good alternative set, or maybe you have a godly probably roll from this both to set, and then that can be viable also, right? So in the end, I have to say this artifact of the Vourakasha glow itself is it's kind of contribute as a more as alternative sets. So my verdict about these new boy artifact sets that I believe they will come in the same domain, is it worth to kind of farm on these sets, I would just say if you kind of want to just specifically upgrade for certain character, let's say you specifically want to upgrade your child or specifically upgrade your kind of Dehya that actually turned out to be very minimal, I would say it's not really worth. But if you want to treat this domain as an alternative kind of artifact source where you want to utilize the two piece from, let's say, from the name stream or two piece from Vourakasha's glow, then yeah, it's actually pretty okay for you to go though. Although I don't think this domain is very highest priority, because my highest priority right now for domain is either the Killer Dreams domain or the Emblem Fates domains, just because most of the character can use that. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Yeah, this is just a fun discussion because I don't know what should I do for the video, because lately 3.5 patch is very dry, so I just think this is quite fun to discuss. So what do you think about this new artifact though? Feel free to hit the subscribe button and like if you like this kind of video, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.